So students, we have completed first part of a chapter. Let me recap the story over here. In the beginning of the chapter, it is told by Khushwant Singh that Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, they were staying in the village. Mother used to accompany him to school. She used to go to her temple by that time, and she used to feed street dogs with steel chapatis. Till now we completed. Now we will begin with the rest of the chapter. As I told you yesterday, children, that there's a turning point in the life of Khushwant Singh and his grandmother. So from here, page number 5, we will start. When my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was a turning point in our friendship. So when parents were settled in the city, they were called in the city, and that was a turning point. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English medium in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. So this is a turning point that mentioned in the life of Khushwant Singh and his grandmother. Grandmother stopped accompanying Khushwant Singh to his school because he used to go to English school and he used to go by motor bus. And dogs were replaced by sparrows because no dogs were there in the street. Mother could not feed them, so she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of their city house. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had. So here till now, it is described that years passed, time passed, and they started seeing each other less. Sometime grandmother continued to wake him up and to make him ready. But after that was also stopped. When I came back, she would ask. As I told you earlier also, would is also a word that can be used for past habitual action that is not in present. So when I came back, she would ask. She used to ask me what the teacher had taught me. So what the teacher had taught me, this was asked by Khushwant Singh's grandmother. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning, the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being around, etc. This made her unhappy. She could not help me with my lessons because all these subjects and their matter were beyond her reach. That's why it was difficult for her to help the child and she felt unhappy. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English medium school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. Because she was a very devotee lady, that's why she thought that it was it was not good not to teach about God and about the scriptures that was taught during village school. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. She was very disturbed. To her, music had lewd association. It was a monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentlefolk. So when Khushwant Singh announced to his grandmother that lessons were being given music lessons were being given, that time she was very disturbed. Why? Because music had lewd association. Lewd means vulgar, low. It was a monopoly of harlots. Who has a monopoly on music? Harlots. Harlots means, students, prostitutes. Dancing and singing women of less decency or indecent character. Beggars and not meant for gentlefolk. They were gentlefolk, and that's why grandmother did not like it that music was taught in the school to such kind of children. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She rarely talked to me after that. So she kept quiet, she did not say anything, she did not complain even about it, but her silence just made it clear to all that it was a disapproval from her side. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was snapped. What was the common link of the friendship? Common room was there. Now, different room was given to Khushwant Singh. So that's why this common link was also snapped. My grandmother accepted her seclusion. Seclusion means, children, isolation. With resignation. What is resignation means? Resignation means when something happens, we don't like that thing, but we have no choice left, so we have to accept that. She also did not live with any choice. He was shifted from her room, and that's why she accepted her loneliness, her seclusion with resignation. She did not like it, but she had to accept it. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. So what she used to do? She used to work on spinning wheel. I hope spinning wheel is clear to all. You all know what is spinning wheel? From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. She kept on spinning and she kept on reciting prayers from sunrise to sunset. What was the time she used to leave that? Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. While she sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirpings. So it is written that hundreds of birds used to come over there when she start feeding them in the veranda of the home. All these birds, hundreds in numbers, collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirpings. It means true roar or noise of chirpings. I hope you have heard when bird chirps. Though it's very soothing to ears, but these many hundreds of birds were collected over there and started chirping. That's why this bedlam of chirpings means that noise, true noise of chirping. It was very noisy. Some came and perched on her legs. Perched means sat. Others on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled but never shooed them away. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for her. Shoot them away means through the gestures to just send them away. But she did not do this. She never did that. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. So this could be very sad news for grandmother that grandson would be sent for 5 years abroad for his further studies. And he himself felt this thing that it would disturb his grandmother. But my grandmother could. But at her age, one could never tell. It's very difficult to say goodbye to very dear ones at this age, to send them far away. But my grandmother could. But she was very strong lady, very courageous lady, and she was not even sentimental. She was quite balanced. She came to leave me at the railway station but did not talk or show any emotion. It doesn't mean she did not love him. She loved him. She filled with all the emotions, but she did not show the way others were thinking in their opinion that she would show and she would react to this situation. She did not. Very strong lady she was. She came to leave me at the railway station. She came to see off Khushwant Singh but did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Silently she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So this kiss, the kiss that grandmother gave to his grandson, her grandson, it was felt by Khushwant Singh that it would be the last physical contact because he was going for 5 years and she was very aged by that time too. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. It was really a good thing that she was there after 5 years also, and she reached to the station to welcome her grandson. She did not look a day older. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. So here it says that she did not look a day older. It means she was the same as she was earlier, same age. And in the beginning of the chapter also he wrote that for last 20 years he noticed no change in grandmother. Almost same, because whatever changes takes place from youth or elderly age to old age already taken place over there. Wrinkled face, white hair, silver hair, and bent back. And she kept on reciting her prayers when she impressed her grandson that time also. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer, and with frivolous rebukes. Frivolous rebukes means, students, frivolous means not serious or filled with affection. Rebukes means scolding. So those scoldings, she was scolding those sparrows, but it was frivolous, non-serious and filled with emotion. Why? Filled with affection. Why? Because she was very happy on the arrival of her grandson. And her happiest moments were with the sparrows itself. In the evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang of the homecoming of warriors. So here, students, in the evening a change came over there that she kept on praying all the time. Since his childhood he remembers, she did not pray that day. What did she do? Instead of praying, she collected women of the neighborhood, and she got an old drum also, and she started singing for several hours. It means for a long time. She thumped the sagging. Sagging means loose. Okay? Loose. Sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. Dilapidated means, children, worn out, very old, completely worn out drum it was, and its loose skin. It was thumped by her for several hours, for a long time. She was very old, and then also she kept on thumping the sagging skins of the dilapidated that worn out drum for hours, and sang of the homecoming of warriors, and all the praise, the way warriors are praised in the same way, such kind of song she was singing over there. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. It was the first time since I had known, because since his childhood he noticed that she did not leave a single time praying. Even hardly she talked to people, she kept on praying. But first time she did not pray. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. They asked her, they requested her to avoid overstraining, but she did not pay any heed to it. The next morning she was taken ill. It was a mild fever, and the doctor told us that it would go. But my grandmother thought differently. She told us that her end was near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. See, this lady, she was completely in the devotion of Almighty. That devotee she was, that in her end time, she did not want to talk to family members. She wanted to chant the name of Almighty, and she was regretting somewhere that only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, when she is going to die, just before that, very close to it, she had omitted to pray. And somewhere she filled with regret over here. And she stopped talking to anyone and she started praying. We protested, but she ignored our protest. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. So she was holding the beads of rosary in her hand, and before we could suspect, before they could have doubt on this, that whether she's alive or not, how was she feeling? Before that, her lips stopped moving because she was praying, so her lips stopped moving. Before she was praying, so it was easily come to know that she was alive. Now her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. Fingers were lifeless, that's why that could not hold rosary in the fingers. A peaceful pallor spread on her face and we knew that she was dead. Peaceful pallor, peaceful color, the pale color spread on her face and they came to know that she passed away. We lifted her off the bed and, as is customary, laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. Shroud means, children, it is a covering to cover coffin or dead bodies. So red color shroud was used for grandmother. It is customary after death, person must not be left on the bed itself. That person must be placed on the ground. So laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. After a few hours of mourning, we left her alone to make arrangements for her funeral. Mourning here means, children, that they were quite filled with sorrow. So they expressed their few hours were there. They expressed their sadness over there, that they cried over there, and then they left her alone to make arrangements for her funeral. In the evening, we went to her room with a crude stretcher to take her to be cremated. I hope you understood this line, children. We went to her room with a crude stretcher. On the crude stretcher, that dead body could be taken to the cremation ground. The sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. So what time that was? The time was the sun was setting by that time. I hope you have already noticed sunrise and sunset. When they are very close to sunset, it radiates light, and that light is golden in color. So that kind of light, orange, yellow, filled with golden, such kind of light it radiates. So it says the sun was setting and had lit her room, lit grandmother's room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. We stopped halfway in the courtyard, all over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and stiff wrapped in the red shroud. Thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. Thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor means everywhere they were. There was no chirping. But see the difference. There was no chirping. They came to meet the lady who was wrapped in the red shroud. They did not chirp over there. They were quite quiet over there. We felt sorry for the birds, and my mother fetched some bread for them. She broke it into little crumbs, the way my grandmother used to, and threw it to them. They thought that they were there to get their feed, and in place of grandmother, Khushwant's mother did the job to offer food to that little crumbs to sparrows. The sparrows took no notice of the bread. When we carried my grandmother's corpse off, corpse means dead body, off, they flew away quietly. So when grandmother's corpse was taken, that time all those birds were there, but when it was carried off, that time all they flew away and without any chirp, very quietly. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. This sentence is very deep in meaning. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. It means those sparrows never turned to the same house to get the feed over there, what was served to them. Here we come to know that grandmother, Khushwant Singh's grandmother, old lady, very great devotee and very kind to all living beings, animals, birds, to all. Moreover, here is shown that love reflects love, kindness reflects kindness. When grandmother took feeding sparrows, sparrows came on her death to mourn. The way it had taken place, it shows that every living being, not only human being, every living being, whether they are able to speak the same language or not, but they feel the language of love. They feel the language of kindness. And this is a great language more than the language of words. So here we have finished our chapter, students. In case you have doubt, you may ask. Thank you.